Hey everybody! So lately we have gotten kind of a little crazy with Dave & Buster's, and we've started getting pretty awesome at some of the games, I'm not gonna lie. But then at first their prizes were alright. I mean, some of the higher end ones were pretty cool, but I was still like, I don't really want it that bad. Like, I wouldn't even pay for it, so I don't even care if we win it. We just started racking up the points, and we were like, at one point, my dad was talking about how he wanted a blender, and so I was like, dude, they have Ninja. So I totally was just like, oh yeah, here we go. I was like, that prize is on the top shelf. I'm like, I just felt really awesome. Just going in there and being able to just grab that Ninja off the top shelf and be like, oh yeah, I'm getting this. And then I was like, oh, I still got plenty of points left over. If I wanted to, I could get 2 Ninjas. I was like, how awesome is that? Anyway, long story short, the other day we went in there and they had an electric scooter. Oh man, my new life goal. But of course, this was after Christmas, and I had decided to go into Dave & Buster's since we had a bunch of points racked up, and I got a bunch of the prizes for white elephant gifts. Sorry friends that I'm just now telling you this, that I won all those presents. But yeah, I did. It was fun. Anyway, so I was lacking in the points. Well, I mean, we still had some. We probably had about half as what we need, as much as we needed, because it was supposed to be 50,000 tickets to win this, and I think we had about 25,000. Anyway, so here we go. We're gonna unbox this and see how awesome it is. So after we won it, I found out that there's some reviews out there, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, we were going to Dave & Buster's anyway. So we already were entertaining ourselves, and so now I'm getting like twice the much value for the money, right? So who cares? Anyway, so let's find out. Let's see how awesome this is. So this is the Voyager electric scooter, the Ion, and let's see, it's supposed to have a max speed of 12.5 miles per hour. Max load is 220 pounds. And endurance mileage is 10 miles. So that's not too bad for electric scooter, right? Okay, anyway, let's see if we can get into this. Okay, I went and got my weapon. I have to assemble it? I thought it was just foldable in here. Power cable and handles. One of these doohickeys. We're not losing that. Power cable part 2. Thank you for making your decision to ride Voyager. Welcome to the Voyager family. Your Voyager vehicle was designed with excitement and efficiency in mind. We know you're going to love it. If you have any questions or concerns about the product, please reach out to us for immediate assistance. All right. Instead of returning the product to the store, please contact us if you run into any issues. We're here to help. Do they have that many people trying to return it? I feel like that was kind of a bad opening right there. Like, they're saying, we know that this is a mediocre scooter, please contact us first. Okay. Yeah, who needs instructions? Ooh. Okay, so, in light of all those electric scooters popping up into neighborhoods, I've kind of gotten a little obsessed with them. I used to have an electric bike, which I love. I used to ride it to work. But then I ended up working a lot further and I couldn't do that anymore. Anyway, so I'm really excited about this. So it looks very nice. Yeah, maybe I should have read in the instructions. Oh, it attaches. That's kind of cool. So where's the release? Oh, okay. I would guess that you want to make sure that you lock it in place. Very nice locking sound. Okay. This is very turnable. Okay, so they're not nearly as much assembly as I was initially afraid of, thankfully. Okay, so when it comes out of the box, it is connected to the bottom, they're like an emergency stop brake thing for your wheel. So all you have to do is press down on the back of it and pull up on the handle at the same time. So that way it releases, because there's like this little slot that this is hooked into. So it just slides right out. Just make sure you press down far enough. And then you can bring it up. And then you'll notice on the front there's a little lever that you can just push and it snaps right in to the front handle, front neck of the scooter. And then we have the bag where you can attach the handles. And it looks like they just screw right in. They even say, well, I guess one is obviously left because the other one has an R on it. So it actually says right. You can see that. Okay. So. Interesting. Okay, so the right handle you have to twist to the left to tighten it. The left handle you actually have to twist to the right. Or no, yeah, to the right to tighten. Okay, so basically for the handles, instead of thinking about like you're tightening a screw or something, both handles, when you're on the scooter, you need to twist the handle on towards you, basically. So for both. So, but if you're looking at that handle from like one side, it's one of them's going to seem correct and the other one's going to seem wrong. So it's just easier to think about if you're seeing like this way, like you're supposed to on the scooter, just twist at the handle towards your body. Okay? And then it looks like we are pretty much set to go. Let's see. So right here, there's the power button. So we're going to turn that on and see if it has any battery. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it looks like it does have a battery charge. Obviously right now we are going 0 miles an hour because I'm not going anywhere. This should be the gas. Oh yeah. And then I'm gonna have to figure out what the rest of this is. I would guess that was a brake. Is that my hazards? This is P3, so I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. And it's got a nifty little kickstand. It looks like it's very skeptical on the carpet. Okay, so there's a lot more buttons on this thing than I originally thought, and apparently a lot of the buttons do multiple things. So, first of all, on our lovely little display, to turn it on, if you hold the power button right here for a couple of seconds, that's what makes this screen come on. So then of course here is your speed. Right now it is in miles per hour, which, you know, that's what I'm familiar with, so I'm going to leave it at that. You can change it to kilometers per hour if you want. These bars indicate the battery level. 5 is the max, so this should be fully charged. As you can see, the instructions show you can switch, like I said. This also says that there's a cruise control. I was not expecting this thing to have a cruise control. That's pretty awesome. Also, it has a front light. So all you have to do to turn on that front light is just quickly hit that power button again, just once. But if you hold it, because we've got the light here, it also has a rear light that flashes. So that's pretty cool. Great safety feature. So then you just hit it once again really quickly to turn it off. And once again, to turn off the scooter entirely, you just press and hold that same button. There's little other things that can come up on this monitor, such as motor error. Thankfully it's new and we don't have that light because that would be bad. You can also have the accelerator error or brake error. Don't have those errors either, so we're in good shape. It also tells you there's a start mode, cruise control, like I said, and the front light would have an indicator on here to let you know that, yeah, it is working. So let's see if we can see that. So right here, we have the little indicator. It's telling you that the front light is on, so you don't actually have to try to double check. Like right now, I'm not in the dark, so it's a little hard for me to tell from where I'm standing. Okay, anyway, so moving on. Once I read that there was cruise control, I needed to find a little bit more about that, obviously. So there's also this little triangle button on this other side, which I discovered looking into further onto the instructions. If we hit that button, it has different gears. So there's P0, which is essentially neutral, P1, P2, and P3. So it says P0 is neutral gear in order to prevent it from suddenly speeding up. Like let's say you're going down a hill or something, probably. And then also it says that, like I said, you can switch from kilometers per hour or miles per hour. There's different start modes to the scooter apparently, and that is one thing that I did want to check and see what it was on. So they have the slide start, which you're essentially going to have to be on the scooter. You're going to have to kind of get it, like push it and have it be moving already before your throttle will work, which I think is the way I want it to be. Or you can have it so that you don't have to be already started or at all. You can just get on it and then the throttle will just shoot you and you'll go. I think that I actually want this slide to start just because I have a theory that that's probably going to help save the battery. At least that's how it was with my electric bike. If I actually helped pedal first before I started using the throttle, it saved my battery life so much more than just, you know, essentially taking the lazy way and getting on and be like, please push me. Okay, do all the work for me. I'm not going to help at all. So I do want to switch it to the slide start if it's not already on there. So in order to do that, it says that we need to press and hold the left and right buttons to enter the settings mode. So the left button is the triangle and then the right button is that circle. I'm going to hold them both. Okay, so then you can see right now it says it's in C1, and then it says press the left button to switch the unit between the unit, startup, and cruise control modes. So the one I'm wanting, oh, this is actually just changing the setting. So if you press the triangle, that's actually going to toggle between your options within that mode. If you press the circle, that's going to switch within which mode you are in. So I wanted to go to C2 instead of C1 because C1 just changes the kilometers versus miles per hour. So I want to be in C2. Right now, and then it timed out on me. Let's see if it actually says what the start mode is on here. So right now C1, I'm going to hit this so I can get to C2. So if I tap this, okay, right now it has the little start mode thing right here. And I'm not sure how I'm supposed to know which one that is. Because in here it just told me that that was the start mode. It doesn't tell me what that equates to. So we have either essentially no symbol or we have a symbol. And all it says is that's the start mode. And I know that there's two options for the start mode, but I don't know which one equates to symbol versus no symbol. So I guess I'm gonna have to take it outside to experiment with that. Okay, so I'm gonna switch to C3. C3 is what you can use to turn on the cruise control. So if I hit the triangle, then my cruise control is enabled. So it's just like when you have it in your car, you can turn it on so that it's enabled, but that doesn't mean that the cruise control is currently set. So if you hold the throttle at a certain speed and you leave it there for a couple of seconds, then your cruise control should engage. And then you'll, just like in your car, you can take your foot off the gas, take your hand off the throttle, and it's still gonna go at that speed that you were going. I don't know that I necessarily need the cruise control on. Oh, and then it's timed back out. So now I'm setting the different gears. I don't know what the gears difference is, but I'm gonna have to experiment with that too. Let's find out. Being the genius that I am, I realized by the fact when I first turned it on and played with the throttle, it did work. It automatically started going. So I know that that was the 0 start, so it automatically started. So now I can, and there was no symbols down here at the bottom. So now that I have the symbol on, which is the slide start, when I press the throttle, it doesn't do anything. It's waiting for me to get it started, which is exactly what I wanted. And I didn't even have to take it outside to figure it out. But I still think it should say it in the instructions. Okay, since the instructions recommend that you make sure that the scooter is fully charged before you take it out for the first ride, I was going to do that. So then I started looking for the charging port. It happens to be on the side of the kickstand. There's a little tab down here. I don't know if you can see it, but you just take the tab out and then there's your charging port right there. So your charger fits right in there. Just looking at this seems very flimsy. I can totally see this breaking off very, very easily. It does say that this scooter is supposed to be water resistant, but then it also does not recommend that you ride it out in the rain or really get it wet at all. And seeing this charging port and the cover that it has, I wouldn't recommend it either. It does not seem that secure to me. And you know, if you want your scooter to last, just don't ride it in the rain and don't go through puddles. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. Okay, so according to Voyager, its waterproof level is IP55, whatever the heck that means. Apparently that means that it can handle kind of having some splashes on the scooter. It can handle regular dust. Don't do anything excessive. This is not an extreme scooter. This is not by any means it's something that you're going to go right out in the rain with. You should not be, you know, taking it and jumping it in the lake or anything, because it's probably not going to work afterwards. And yeah, just don't have it. And also apparently it can't tolerate sand, which I can't either, so we're going to get along fine. Okay, so since it recommends that you make sure that the scooter is fully charged, I did go ahead and plug it in. Initially, when I first plugged it in, the light on the charger was red. It is green now, so I'm going to unplug it and take it for a spin. Make sure you cover the charger. I learned that P0 literally is neutral. It is not going to make me go any faster. It is not going to make me go any slower necessarily. I mean, it's pretty much just, it's like kind of like neutral in a car. Now, but it's not going to let you do anything with the throttle. If you do P1, it's going to limit your speed to about 5 or 6 miles per hour. If you do P2, it stays around between 8 to 10 miles an hour. It's going to max out at 10. It's not going to let you go over that. If you go for P3, that's going to let you go full throttle max, so that gets you up to 12. I know supposedly it says you're supposed to be able to go 12.5 miles an hour. This doesn't tell you if you're actually going 12.5 miles an hour, so who knows if you are or if you're not, but on here it says that you're going 12. So I got up to 12. It does pretty much go like a regular scooter. There's not any, it's not any more difficult. I think the weight is pretty good on it. It's a little heavier than your typical like a Razor scooter, but you're still, I think it's just fine. I don't feel like it's any more difficult. Sometimes you can have that with electric vehicles, or like the electric bike that I had. It was heavier than a normal bike. A few things that I noticed: you can actually change between your modes, so your gears, so your P0, P1, P2, P3 while you're riding. So if you want to change your max while you're riding, you can. It's just something to be aware of. So if you accidentally hit it, you might end up going faster suddenly than you originally planned. So if you're not used to the faster speeds, it can just be something to adjust to. Just kind of keep an eye on where this hand is and whether or not it accidentally taps that. Like I said, the stopping is pretty abrupt, so take it easy. I would definitely release your throttle first
and kind of let it start slowing down on its own. Be aware also if you have the cruise control on and you're holding this down and your cruise control engages while you're going, you're not going to start slowing down. So just kind of be aware of that. So you can kind of tap the brake like you would in a car. Then it'll start gradually slowing down, and you can use the brake even more if you need to. If you're doing riding it like a regular scooter, this brake is not going to help you. This is just to slow you down with the throttle. So you still have to use back here and kind of step on it while you're riding. Did you really just take my scooter? Come back, bro. How are you gonna be like that? Well, I guess at least I got a test drive.